Hello everyone, let's discuss today's The Hindu newspaper editorial page. The first article is The Trouble with a Nobel for mRNA COVID Vaccines. In this article, the writer says that the 2023 Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine has been awarded to Katalin Kariko and Drew Weissman for developing the mRNA vaccine technology that became the foundation for history's fastest vaccine development program during the COVID-19 pandemic. The prize acknowledges work that has created benefits for all mankind, but if we had to be stricter about holding scientific achievements up to this standard, the subset of mRNA vaccines used during the pandemic may not meet it. Dr. Kariko and Dr. Weissman began working together on the mRNA platform at the University of Pennsylvania in the late 1990s. They licensed their patents to mRNA ribotherapeutics, which then sub-licensed them to CellScript, Moderna, and BioNTech for $75 million each. Dr. Kariko joined BioNTech as Senior Vice President in 2013 and enlisted Pfizer to develop its mRNA vaccine for COVID-19 in 2020. Much of the knowledge that underpins most new drugs and vaccines is unearthed at the expense of governments and public funds. This part of drug development is more risky and prolonged when scientists identify potential biomolecular targets within the body to manage a particular disease, followed by identifying suitable chemical candidates. The cost and time estimates of this phase are $1 billion, $2.5 billion, and several decades, respectively. Companies subsequently commoditize and commercialize these entities, raking in millions in profits, typically at the expense of the same people whose taxes funded the fundamental research. On COVAX, the program to ensure poorer countries did not become victims of their subpar purchasing power and had sufficient stocks of mRNA vaccines, fell far short of its targets. India, Russia, and China exported billions of doses of their vaccines, but their efforts were also met with concerns that manufacturing capacity had been overestimated and overquality in Russia and China. Reports of several African countries having to throw away lakhs of vaccine doses because they had been exported too close to their expiry dates were also reported. The next article is The Triumph of Vachati Over a Hostile State. In this article, the writer says that the Madras High Court's judgment on September 29, 2023, upheld the human rights of the people of Vachati in Tamil Nadu, recognizing that coordinated and large-scale repression by uniformed forces cannot take place without orders from or complicity at the top levels of the government. The court stated that revenue officers, police officers, and forest officers, with the help of the then government, played a big stage drama in which the innocent tribal women got affected. This decision is important in the context of the large-scale violence we see today by law enforcement agents on the common man. The villagers of Vachati have created history, and the court verdict is testament to their resolve. This is among the rarest cases in the annals of legal history where all 215 accused, survivors of the 269 accused, government and law enforcement personnel stand convicted en masse of offences under the Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 and the Indian Penal Code. Rigorous imprisonment ranging from 1 to 10 years with fine has also been imposed. The main reason for the delay is clear in the court's observation. It is not the situation that a private individual committed the offense and a single victim made complaint. The court argued that when crimes are committed by agents of the state, should not command responsibility and culpability be fixed on the heads of departments and the ministers too? The prosecution had to prove the guilt of each of those accused as if an individual offense had been committed. Law enforcement agencies must adopt measures to ensure that superior officers are held responsible if they know or should have known that officers under their command are resorting to human rights violations and did not take measures to prevent or report such use. Factors relevant to determining the responsibility of superiors include knowledge of risk by state officers, the duty to know of a real and immediate risk to life and physical integrity, and the reasonable possibilities of preventing or avoiding that risk. Article 28 of the Rome Statute and the International Court of Justice also follow the principle of command responsibility. In India, the prevention of community and targeted violence bill has lapsed, and new criminal law bills introduced by the central government do not recognize organized violence by state agents as a separate class of crime. The case of Achati has emphasized the urgent need to amend the criminal law to fix command responsibility and consequent stringent penalties. The next article is All Vie for the Cup. India, as the host, carries the weight of expectations in ICC World Cup. In this article, the writer says that the ICC World Cup, cricket's biggest event, is set to launch at Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad on Thursday. The 13th edition will begin its run across various venues in India before returning to Ahmedabad for the final on November 19th. India will be the only host, with outposts like Chennai and Dharamshala showcasing World Cup warmth. The World Cup offers context and a strong base for the Udis, which have become more of an afterthought in the Willow game. The World Cup has challenged some myths, such as the host never winning the cup. However, the recent World Cup has shown that organizing the tournament with the pressures does not necessarily prevent the host from having the last laugh. The Indian team, despite 4 key players returning from injuries, has the task of replicating this trend. The Indian team's strong batting may still be in vogue, but the bowlers, particularly speedsters led by Bumrah and the 2 Mohammeds, can raise probing questions. The return of R. Ashwin and the presence of Kuldeep Yadav strengthens the spin quotient. The next article is Shot in the Arm, Success of COVID-19. mRNA vaccines picked the Nobel winners this year. In this article, the writer says that the 2023 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine recognizes the contributions of Katalin Karikó and Dr. Drew Weissman for their work on developing effective mRNA vaccines against COVID-19. The award acknowledges the discovery that mRNA offers the greatest benefit on mankind and recognizes the contributions of a woman of science. Karikó, a Hungarian biochemist, became fascinated with mRNA when it was a mere possibility. In the 1980s, an in vitro transcription method allowed the idea of using mRNA for vaccine and therapy to take off. However, challenges in delivery and immunological reactions arose. Karikó and Weissman, an immunologist, managed to ease delivery paths and get rid of these reactions. In 2005, an in-choice idea was finally teased into fruition. In 2019, scientists taught the mRNA vaccine to construct human cells to make the S protein found on the surface of the COVID-19 virus, causing the body to create antibodies that will fight the virus if contracted. The rest is history.